favor.
Many thanks, Claire. Just to provide some explanation of how this will work, we have prepared some questions for Pep about issues and topics that we want to discuss. Can you hear me? Yes, it works. After this conversation, we will ask the questions that you provided. So there was a ballot box at the entrance where people wrote their questions, so we will be drawing from that box and asking whatever it is that you wanted to ask Pep. So thank you so much, Pep, for joining us today. It's such a pleasure to have you here with us and to give our students really the opportunity to listen to you and to listen to everything that you have to say. Despite you not needing an introduction, I'll just say a few things, if that's okay. So, born in Santpedor in central Catalunya, Josep Guardiola Sala is one of the most decorated football players and managers of all times, and has been the manager of Manchester City since July 2016. One of the best football players to come from the famed La Masia Academy at Barcelona, Pep Guardiola, a holding midfielder, was given the first team debut by Johan Cruyff at 20 years old in 1990. He ended a 13-year spell in the Catalan capital by moving on to represent Brescia and Roma in Italy, Al Ahly in Qatar, before retiring as a player at Dorados de Sinaloa in Mexico in 2006. Pep Guardiola as a manager has won many plaudits for his style of football, a style which last season saw Manchester City become the first English team ever to win 100 league points as he won his first Premier League title. He presided over Barcelona's greatest period of footballing dominance, taking over as first-team manager in 2008 after winning the Tercera División with the B team the previous season, with some describing the team as one of the greatest ever club sides. During his 10 years in management to date, Pep Guardiola has won 24 major honors as a manager across 3 countries. He currently holds the longest winning record in the Spanish La Liga with Barcelona, the German Bundesliga with Bayern Munich, and the English Premier League with current club Manchester City. He is a perfectionist, of course, but if you speak with the players, they will all talk about the family atmosphere he creates at the club he is at, how he has the total trust from his players. That is what makes him special, says Xavi Hernandez, who played under Guardiola from 2008 to 2012. However, Pep Guardiola is not only the architect of some of the finest football sides in modern times. Away from the pitch, he has been very involved and very vocal in the independence movement of his, or I should say our, home country of Catalunya. He has always defended Catalunya's right to self-determination and has engaged widely in the issues surrounding political prisoners. Freedom is to do and say as you wish without fear of repercussions, he told journalist Laura Rosell during a recent interview with TV3 in Catalunya. Born into a hard-working family, Pep Guardiola has always looked up at his father Valentí as an example of integrity and hard work, and this has inspired him throughout his sporting career. Pep is known for his obsession for the finer details and for leaving nothing to chance. He would be brilliant at many things. It just happened to be at football, says chess grandmaster and friend Garry Kasparov. With unbound charisma and passion, he is a man always with something new to say, be it sporting, political, cultural, or just a bit of advice to those around him. He is also frequently lauded for his initiative and innovation. The Spanish film director and novelist David Trueba told author Martí Perarnau for his book Pep Guardiola, The Metamorphosis, Pep follows the process of approaching a game that is very much similar to Bob Dylan's compositions. He fills pages and pages only to leave the essential verses. Welcome to the University of Liverpool, Pep. So we've given a very short introduction to Pep Guardiola to kick off the conversation. But you might not agree with everything that we have said. So can you tell us who is Pep Guardiola? Does it match what we've presented?
Well, I was born when I was born. So is right. No, first of all, thank you so much to be invited here, to invite me. And in this amazing place. So I love to be in the universities. I have a regret because I became football player soon, but I was a really good student when I was young, really good. But after maybe I was better playing football and I decided to go another road. But always I missed this chance to be in university and live what does. I think right now I am a safe place, in a better place than outside. And hopefully we can enjoy a little bit, not boring too much, and enjoy together. Thank you so much to invite me here, and I'm here for all of you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Pep. We'll now move on to the conversational aspect of the evening. We will be focusing on three main topics: sports and society, politics, and finally culture. So with no further ado, let's get started with society and sports. So Pep, you are obviously renowned for your role in football, both as player and as a manager. What is football to you? How do you understand football? Do you understand it as just a sport?
Well, it's my love, it's my passion. Would say is almost everything for me. I think sport gave me absolutely everything to understand the life, to be a better person, or try to be a better person. And I was lucky to make in a high level like I'm a football player and after like a manager. So I am growing, and I know that I will do many things in the future, but it's difficult to understand in the recent past or in the present to be my life without football or without the sport. That's why I'm a lucky guy, because for my passion it became my job or something like that. So that's why I'm a lucky guy.
What role do you think football plays in society? Do you believe we can or should link it to society and culture? And do you think we could understand it as a tool for social integration as well?
No, of course. Sport is an incredible weapon for the culture. I learned many things in the locker rooms, in the part of the game. So you are a football player, you have a manager who's the boss, you have to understand sometimes play, sometimes don't play, the play to the other one. And when you lose, accept the reality, the other one is better than you, and the effort to overcome, like an individual, like a team, to be better than the other one, and to accept many things, not comfortable things. So I think it's a football team in the locker rooms like a little society, a community, like it's express everything will happen in a little town, in a big city, or in a country. So it's a perfect. I think before in the stadium, the football stadium, the people go there to escape from something, and I think today in the stadium show the reality for the society. Everything in the society is in the football game, the reactions, the patience, and everything. And learn of that help you a lot to be better.
Fantastic. We are obviously delighted to have you here at the university, to have you living in the UK. Talking about society, do you see yourself different now that you live abroad? Obviously you have lived abroad for quite a while now in different places, but what changes when you live abroad? Does anything change? So your views of Catalunya, Catalan culture, do you think you perceive things different maybe?
Yeah, I'm a different guy, definitely. So I'm different now. I have 47 than when I was 18. So when the people say, no, I'm the same guy like before. No, I'm a different perspective, and of course helping to be aboard. So I was so comfortable in my country, in Barcelona, and my parents close and friends, but you travel, at the end it's stages of my football career and after like a manager, and it's incredible, I live 6 months in Mexico and after in Qatar as well, in Arabic countries, and how they live there, the different, how the influence for the religion about that culture, and now here like a manager, before in Germany, now here learn Dutch, when before it was impossible to understand, and make an effort to learn. Our kids, for the family, my wife and kids decide to move from the protection in the Catalan, Spanish in there, and moving there, don't speak one word in English, and now they speak fluently, perfectly. So it's incredible to travel. I encourage the people. My kids say it. So now you have the protection, the kids, but sooner or later you are going to fly, and you have to fly. Always home will be there. We will waiting if you need it. But you have to move, and I encourage my players say the same. So be curious to do something. So the football career is too short, at 30, 35. Now you have 23, 24. And I said many times, you will wake up one morning and say, wow, it's over. And it's over, because the time, wow, goes quick. And you have to be curious, maybe photographer, or maybe, I don't know, painting, or maybe golf, or maybe, I don't know, you have some passion, go, because after that, when you retire until you will die, hopefully 80, 90, 100, so a lot of things to do. And the curiosity make us alive, you know, the culture make us better to know for the other ones. And I feel better. I come back to Munich last week and see my friends. It's the only reason it's nice to meet people. And it's fantastic. So that's why I always encourage the people to do, after 2-3 years change, and do different things in different places. That is fantastic, if you can do it, of course.
Language students, listen to this. You know you have to go on the year abroad, so you've got the perfect advice there. Thanks, Pep. So now talking about living abroad, can you tell us how a Catalan lives abroad? What do you miss the most? Is it just the food, the culture, the weather? The food.
The food. Especially the food, yeah. Especially.
Like me.
The pan tumacat.
I would say the weather too. And you live.
Okay.
What happened in this country, in the weather?
I ask myself the same question every day.
Oh, it's tough.
Okay, Pep, we've been teaching Catalan language and Catalan culture since the 1930s at the University of Liverpool. How do you value the fact that Catalan is such an important part of university programs abroad, particularly in the UK? And people at home in the Catalan countries, in Spain, are sometimes generally surprised to find out that Catalan is taught in university programs abroad. Why do you think people still have these preconceptions? And what do you think needs to happen to change such views?
Well, first of all, congratulations, because we are a less widely spoken language, Catalan, and that's why I thought just the people are curious about language in Catalunya. So not even in Spain, in some part of Spain, the people in the school, in the university, they have the chance to speak Catalan. And I arrived here in Liverpool, and I said, no, it's important. The students speak Catalan quite like German or Italian. So I'm really impressed. That's why all of you, thank you so much for this Institute Romel Llull, of course, but the people is here because not, of course, we are a small country, and not many people speaks Catalan, and that's why you have to invest in culture for the writers, for the singers, for the people who not even who loves our languages, in that case Catalan, and the people can know. And it's a fantastic language, Catalan. It's a beautiful language. It
is.
And it's not easy to write, and I encourage the people, and going to Catalunya is an incredible place to live and to meet people. Totally. Go.
But what do you think needs to happen to change these views and normalize the fact that people are studying Catalan abroad? What should happen?
Well, because it's normal, so no English, and after maybe now the Chinese language, or the most common or popular language for other people. This is a little language, and that's why the people doesn't know. It's more in the media. Maybe more the people doesn't know. When sometimes I went to Mexico, for example, where are you from? Okay, from Barcelona. Oh, Spain. Yeah, Spain. Okay, yeah. And speak with my wife in the taxi. Which language are you speaking? So Catalan. Catalan. Which language? Which I come from? So it's normal. So we are few people, 7 million people in Catalonia, and that's why it's not well known. But okay, that's why it's try to talk
step by step.
Step by step. Yeah, that's why. Step by
That's
step.
why we're here.
Yeah.
We offer Catalan in open languages as part of the degrees and in continuing education.
Continuing education as well.
Okay, so now that we're talking about teaching, as a university we have a global strategy for the advancement of learning and the ennoblement of life. Our education strategy vision is to support our students as they become creative and culturally rich graduates with the capacity to find employment that will enable them to be agents of change. Obviously, we aim to offer a supportive student experience, and since you have obviously provided unparalleled inspiration to many people throughout your career, could you give us some tips on how to inspire the next generations? Maybe offer our students some advice on how to be successful in life, how to respond to challenges, I don't know. Just give us some advice.
It's nice. There's no advice for that. There's no advice. Every life must be lived from ourselves. So it's not tricky. Some new managers come to watching us and they wanna discover the secret what we are doing. There are no secrets. It's not a book. Like you open the book and read. You have to do that, the methodology, and when you do that, everything is going well. So the best advice I can give is if they have passion, because you have passion, you show passion for the other ones. And the other ones will receive that passion if they like what they have to do. If don't, you have to change. So everything comes from here, everything. So if you like what you do, you'll have success. You will be happy. You will give every human being have. So without that, is no way. So the best I can say to the teachers, or especially the students, no presumption or not being, okay, I have the secrets of everything. No, that is look for what you like to do. Something coming from, I like to wake up in the morning and I like to that. Maybe the most silly thing or maybe the more stupid thing, that is not important. And after that, you will have success. And that is, I think, the secret for these students to indeed the process. That's why it's important to try to do as much things as possible. Maybe you think, okay, I'm going here and now I'm going to make a course from, I don't know, photography or whatever. And maybe in that many things you do, you will find something, your inspiration, and say, well, I like to do that. That is what you have to do. It's the only thing. The other, okay, you have a methodology to teach something because you believe in that. Some of them you're going to get it, some of them you're going, I don't like it. Okay, it's not a problem. But don't follow what the people say you have to do. Don't follow your parents say you have to do. Don't follow what the teachers or now the society say now you have to be a lawyer because lawyers will pay or you have more options to do in the future. That I think is not the secret. So you have to do many things, travel and discover many things, and finally you will discover. For example, I met Xavier Salamartin is maybe one of the most incredible mathematics in the world. He's teacher in the University of Columbus from New York, one of the most prestigious one. And he, talking about that, explained me, I was a student and I didn't like a student. I was a tough teenager and was bored, drinking, dancing, and I was not curious in that. And I found, when I was late, I would find a mathematic teacher. I was in love with him. And he teach me something. In that moment, I start to read books, and I start to prepare, and now it's become one of the best mathematics in the world. Why? Because that teacher gave him something here in the blood and said, why I like to that. When before, never before, no read one book about mathematics or whatever. I think that is a perfect example for the academics, for the students.
Fantastic, great advice, thank you. Okay, so we will move on to questions about politics, because I think we could not have you here without approaching this issue. So I believe everyone present will be very, very much aware of the ways in which you have supported the Catalan self-determination referendums, the right to decide the future for Catalunya. Can you tell us how you see the current political situation in Catalunya? What are your thoughts about it? If you can condense that in 2 minutes.
Well, I'm a Catalan, but what does it mean? So maybe it doesn't mean nothing. So maybe 47 years ago, my dad and mom had sex, and 9 months later, I was born. So what is my influence to be Catalan? It's zero. It's nothing. So nothing. But I was born there, and I grew up, and my first words I listened and learned was in Catalan. So I love this language. But I love Spanish too. And I love Germany. When I am ready to speak German, and I like England because I'm living here, and the people take care of my kids or myself here. So it's nothing special. But now in Catalonia, it happened is a situation like is not easy because the president of Catalonia is in exile, and the second more important person in Catalonia is the woman Carme Forcadell, the president of parliament, is in exile. So 10 politicians are in exile, and they can walk across the Europe, across the world, but they know go to Spain will be in jail. So and it's not about to be agree or not agree about independence, because it's not a fact I wanted to be independent. So these politicians are in exile, some of them in jail, but not just politicians or not just social activists and even singers. They cannot come back in Spain or Catalunya, but they are going to jail. And the same, it's not about I wanted to be independent. The people say, let's express the Catalan to decide their own future. And maybe the people is going to decide, I don't want it to be independent. That's okay, it's perfect. But just to let them vote, they cannot come back at home with their families and do what they have to do. So we make it simple that we make a comparison from what happened in England with Scotland, with Cameron and Alex Salmond. It's what it is. Imagine the situation, Alex Salmond is in jail. And more than 1,100 people bonded to vote. And the parliament dissolved, and the politician dismissed, and the 155 from the constitution applied, and will be government from Spain. So it's not a current situation, it's not easy. But I think it's unfair because they are an atrocious petitions from tough sentencing of imprisonment, maybe 25 years, for let the people express the right to vote, what happened in England and Scotland. So that is the situation. So it's not easy, but hopefully it can be better.
And if we may, Pep, can we ask where you were in the 1st of October 2017, and what were your thoughts on that day?
I was in Manchester at home, watching by the internet what happened, and I was, wow, it's not easy to handle it. You know, I could be the same guy who was in Barcelona to try to express, I want to be independent, I want to be independent. Because the programs, the people who decide, let them vote, was elected before for the citizens. When they knew they win the election, they are going to make the referendum. It's not a surprise for one day, said, okay, now I wake up. The power of that happening in Catalonia is not the politicians, it's the people, really. Maybe you are not there, I'm not living there, but I'm curious to do what happened in my country. The people is the power what happened there. And the politicians always, you know, followed the instructions for there. And it's difficult to understand, you know, when we are, it's a movement, a peaceful movement, it's no violence to make, you know, try to express the people, because what happened 50 years ago, then young guys, ladies and gentlemen, this is completely different. And in my period, I am different from my parents. And society move forward and the people change. And if the people decide to go in that way, you have to accept it if the people want that. And now in the situation in Spain, in Catalonia, now is that conflict. So I think Spain, an incredible country, is multilingual, like Basque, like Spanish, like Catalan, like Gallego, is multicultural, is open. Spain is so rich, so have a power to be together with the different ways to understand. But if some part of the people will understand to live for many reasons, but I don't know, even right now, I don't know if the people wants to be independent, I don't know. So in that situation, it's a little bit tough. Still, Spain don't accept that how rich we are, how different language can live together, even staying together, like right now is the situation of being independent, in that case, from Catalonia.
So given the recent and not so recent developments, what do you believe is to come to Catalonia, and what would be the perfect Catalonia or the perfect Spain of the future for you?
Well, it's democracy, and more democracy. So what happened here in England is the only solution. So a referendum between the sides and vote. And after accept the results, but the people want the results. So, but always the democracy, more democracy. It cannot be another solution of that. So, and I think in Catalonia the people was involved and continue will be involved in that.
We've heard in plenty of occasions how sometimes public figures like yourself, so sports people or singers, actresses, actors, writers, often manage to have a much wider reach in society than actually politicians. As a perfect example, we have the issue about the yellow ribbon, the llaç groc, and how the fact that your refusal to remove the one that you were wearing meant that people home, well, here in the UK, in Catalunya, got to know or got to be much more aware of what it represented. Do you think that all citizens, and in particular public figures, have a moral duty to engage in society politically or socially?
Yeah, but am I a public figure because I'm sitting here and I'm sitting there? So I'm a citizen. Before a manager right now, before football player, I'm a citizen. So I prefer to be father than the manager, and I try to give a better society for my kids than win the Premier League. So everybody has a duty. So when the people believe, of course Spain is a democracy, but democracy is not one vote every 4 years and it's over. So democracy, you have to take care of it. We have to be present every single day. So be activists, be present. So the governments must be controlled, in part for the media, hopefully the public media, because it's the strongest one. But right now, I don't know, you have to trust a lot with the media, about how they control all the states or the governments. The people has to, to be aware and control what happened. So at the end, I can be comfortable, or always is the fighting about your ethics, about to be sit down or move forward, But also everybody wanna wake up in the morning, wash our hands in the bathroom, and in front of the mirror say, okay, I can look myself. I cannot my head set down. That contribution to be step more, stay quiet, is not. Always I encourage the young people, even my players, if you are not agree, you have to tell me. If you are not agree my decisions, what we are going to live this year, you have to tell me. With no season, what is the reason why to win something, and after we are boring and we don't respect each other, and it's no sense. So I prefer to win, and during 11 months we are happy trying to fight, trying to win, trying to do ourselves in the best way as possible. That is the point. So yellow ribbon, there are yellow ribbon, there are pink ribbon, there are red ribbon, there are many ribbons. It's part of humanity. All of ribbons mean something. Is an injustice where the people live. In the last ongoing as to the people the people, 80% of the people in Catalonia doesn't want the people in jail. So the people believe for what that, so that is an act of humanity. It's not right or left, this party or the other one. It's be part of something the people want to help the people are in jail. So, but sports in that situation, for example, I'll put an example. When the people related about the sports and the politician, why we cannot involve about the public figures about that. So years ago in Valencia, Gus Hiddink, one of the biggest managers in all history, stopped one game in Valencia and said, "It's not put out this svastic Nazist remove this svastic, we are not going to play the second half." So, of course, he used the power to be a better society. Another example, for example, in '74, it was a World Cup in Argentina, and the Holland players went to the Plaza, Las Madres de Plaza de Mayo to fight against the dictatorship in that period. Or for example, Socrates, a Brazilian player, like when fight against Corinthians issue in Brazil, where was a dictator there in that. Of course, this kind of players use, or for example, in Mexico, an athlete fight against racism. So, of course you can use it, and you have to use it, but they do it not because I am good athletes, because they are a human being like all of us, and you have to try, because you have to take care of the democracy, you have to defend it, because I'm talking too much, 2 minutes.
Go on.
I remember one movie. I encourage you to watch it. It was it's a German movie, Die Welle. It was The Wave. I think it's good to talk about that because it happened in university. Teachers decide, in one meeting in the teachers, decide, or they talk about if the Nazism, the Adolf Hitler, it was over or was present in the society. All of the teachers say, no, it's over. Never again it's going to happen. Never again. One of the teachers say, can happen again. We are going to make a test of that. And here start the lessons, here start the classes, talking about with Adolf Hitler, say and say and say and say and say. You cannot imagine how changed the mind for the students about it can happen again. So that's why, and what happened today, for example, in Mediterranean Sea, when the people, the refugee, is dying on the sea, and the governments don't help to solve that situation. I know it happened in the region. All the refugees escape of their countries. They don't want to escape of their countries. They escape of their countries because they have no solution. Because in Syria there are wars. Because there are many, many conflicts. And of course they'll be solved for United States, for Russia, for the big government, for China to solve that. And the people refugee. But the people are dying on the sea, are dying. And the people in the ships, for example, people going there to rescue, and the people in the government doesn't want the people go there to rescue. In which world we're going to live? So everything starts for the human rights. Everything happened to be better person. Everything happened, to the peace. So that's why you have to take care of the and the best is the culture. The culture is the democracy, is in the vote. Is what happened here in England. Brexit, you are going to agree or you cannot agree, but the people vote. The people decide on the future. Maybe you can discuss about that, but that is what it is. And that is what you have to defend every single day, not just one time every 4 years, because it's not enough. That will be not enough.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Pep. So, Pep, let's bring together politics and sport even more closely. We assume you watched the World Cup over the summer. Did you follow the Spanish team? There were a few arguments around the Spanish national team and some Catalan players who were in favor of the Catalan referendum, such as Gerard Piqué. What are your thoughts about that? Can football avoid politics, and should football avoid politics?
The sport only can help. The sport only can help. When Spain plays, I want to see Spain win the game in the tournament, because I have a lot of friends. My connection with Spain is higher than another country, even here in England or Germany when I was in Mexico or in Qatar. It's higher. So I have players in Spain is playing with, I was their manager before, and I want all the best for them. And when they play against another country, I prefer they win. I prefer a nice football game. But of course, so I remember the good places for the places, the nice people I met. So not for a nice church, a nice cathedral, or, okay, it's nice, but I prefer, when I meet some people, I want to come back to see this guy, to see this person. I prefer that is the same. And of course, Gerard can defend something. I am from Barcelona fan. Barcelona for me is absolutely everything. He gave me everything, like a football player, manager, the opportunity, and he's the club of my heart when I was a little boy. But I am playing now, I am manager for Man City, and I'm doing my best, the same best that I do it. So So, like in Barcelona, only I can play in Barcelona. It's no sense.
Okay, so we've talked about democracy, the friends that you make when you live abroad. Of all the places that you've lived, what country has empathized more with what is happening in Catalonia at the moment?
Well, I don't know, but if
Or which
if,
one has a better understanding?
if the president from Catalonia, Carles Puigdemont, is in exile, and Spain won't come back him, and Germany has said no, he's been accused of rebellion and sedition, and that didn't happen, because it would have happened. Carlos Puigdemont would have been in Spain right now in the jail, so it happened, so okay. So they do the good job, I think, in Germany. They know exactly what happened there. And Clara Ponsatí is in Scotland. Mm-hmm. You know, she can work in the university there, and she can do her own job without a problem. But I don't know if Europe did or is doing absolutely everything for the human rights. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Really, I'm not a lawyer. So I don't know exactly, I cannot talk about that. I don't know the laws about the politician. I'm not a politician, I never will be. I'm just a citizen, but I am curious to know what's going to finish, and hopefully it's going to finish well, because a few days ago I was in the prison to see all the prisoners there. We make a conference there, we were together 2 hours there. It was an amazing moment, and we saw them, and I can imagine how unfair it is, you know, to let the people express their own votes, and they are accused for maybe 25 years in the jail, and said they are more than 1 year there, so they cannot, not even one single day, they should be there. There are no presumption, you know, presumption, presumption, it doesn't matter. Next.
Okay, so now let's move on to our final topic, which is going to be culture. You have highlighted the importance of culture in society. And Pep, I'm sure that you are aware on how people perceive FC Barcelona and yourself, Pep Guardiola, as one of the greatest ambassadors of Catalan culture. Do you agree with such a statement? And what are your thoughts on that?
Well, ambassador, I speak Catalan, speak Spanish, come here, I was born there, and the people I didn't do anything, you know, to be ambassador from Catalunya. Anything. So I try to do my job as best as possible. That is what I do. You are a good ambassador if you win. If you don't win, you are a shit ambassador. so that's why I didn't do anything to be ambassador. Of course, FC Barcelona is special. Like Vázquez Montalbán said, Barcelona is an army of Catalunya. He making this incredible sentence, and of course in the period from dictator Franco was in Spain, when in Catalonia was not allowed to speak Catalan, and the people was in jail and killed to speak Catalan. So in Barcelona you could get there to see your team and speak Catalan and sing your songs freely, with absolutely freedom. So that's why I always related. I think at FC Barcelona, of course, is one of the, maybe the most, or one of the most, you know, ambassadors from our language, from Catalunya.
Great. But this will be the last questions before we move to the ones we've got in the ballot box. As someone who teaches poetry here at the university, I need to ask you about your love for poetry. So we know you are a passionate reader of Miquel Martí i Pol's poetic work, that you even had the great honor of meeting him. You read his poetry in Germany a few years ago in an event organized with Ramon Llull and the Goethe Institute. You recorded one of his poems for a CD book. Can you tell us a little bit more about Pep the Reader? And when and how did you encounter poetry, and what do you look for in poetry?
No, but I love read, but I don't read. So I start to read and I start to think Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp, and I cannot be focused on what I read. That's why I don't read. The people say I read, I don't read. I have a nice library. Sooner or later, I will read all the books. But I don't have time. I cannot be focused on that. And but of course, Michael Martipol, I met him, and poetry always say is a culture for the poor people, the poor people. And of course, when you read poetry, you feel better. That is, I think, the capacity to express a huge idea in few sentences, a few words. That is a huge talent. So, and there are many in Catalunya, in Spain, in everywhere. So, it's another part of our culture. And culture always make you a better person. That is for sure.
Everyone is welcome to join my poetry module.
Me too. I will come.
Okay, so I'll get the questions from the box.
Shall we maybe put it here?
A veure, obra, no sé ni com obrir-lo. N'agafes unes quantes?
Sí. Comença.
Okay, we'll try to cover as many questions as we can. But obviously, we don't have that long, but we'll try to get round to as many as possible. Should I?
Be careful, guys. Huh?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a question from Jack McCourt. Jack, are you somewhere
Stand
in
up.
the office? Oh, there he is.
There.
Stay here.
Okay. So Jack's question is, as a former Barcelona player and manager, do you feel that the club has an important role to play in the independence debate? And does the potential implications of independence raised by Javier Tebas in 2017, that the club could no longer play in La Liga post-independence, impact your position? You can read the question.
I think that is I think that is the less important thing, if Barcelona could play or not in the Spanish league. The society decides something, you are out. You are going to find a solution or not. But at the end, what happened in this referendum is to make the people that they believe we are going to live better or not. I don't know, but that is the less important. And the first part of the question is about the important role Barcelona. Of course, they have to play an important role. Yeah, it's impossible to spur out what means Barcelona, what happened in the past about Catalunya. It's impossible. It's impossible. But I understand sometimes you have to, to be in Barcelona in the board and the president, you have to, to handle the powers, the balance, the situations, and sometimes it's not easy, but we cannot deny Barcelona is so important in the identification of our language and our country.
Great, thank you. We've got a question from Alex. I'm sure that
Alex.
no surname. Maybe that Alex? Okay. He's one of our Catalan students.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, Jack is as well.
The question is, how does the Premier League compare to other leagues? And is the Premier League the best in the world?
I have to say yes, huh?
Is it?
Is the toughest one for the amount of games, for the weather, for the referees? Go, play. And maybe you don't have head. Play. And the contenders, there are many. It's the only country that have 5, 6 they can win the Premier League. But I think it will be unfair if I say the other one is the Germany. There are many things that are better than here, and in Spain they are better than here, and here there are better, things than the opposite league. So that's why it's the same, like I said before, all night, the culture. So you travel around and you learn a lot. Like a manager, I am better manager because I was in Germany. I am better manager than I was in Barcelona by far. better manager. Just for the fact of being there. And now I feel being here, I'm better manager too, because I learned to handle this incredible league in many circumstances. It's an unpredictable league. I think it's the most unpredictable league I've been, and that's why it's fascinating. You know, the stadiums and the passion, and you see match of the day, and after you see, you know, the highlights and how the people. Always, I'm curious when one team score a goal, the reaction for the crowd, how crazy they are, and how in other countries say, oh, good. And hear the people laughing and screaming and hugging, and that's good. It's good. And you know, in Asia and all around the world here, everybody watching us. That's why it's nice. You make your job, and everybody can watching us. It's fantastic.
Right. We've got another question from Didi Davies. Didi?
Another Catalan student.
They are everywhere. So she asks, where's your favorite place to visit in Catalunya? Come on, it's your chance to promote some tourism.
Well, there are many. So I think Barcelona is a nice city because it's comfortable to follow. And I think Girona, the part of the L'Empordà, and after Tarragona is going to complain. So Lleida dels Caragols. So there are many places. I think it's a place where there are 10 months of good weather to visit. The food is good, and I think Gaudí and many incredible personalities that was born there. They create their own talent there, can be visited. So it's everywhere. That's why.
We've got another question from James Bryan. Is James around? What has been the biggest obstacle within your career, within your coaching career at the present, and how did you overcome this?
Oh, sorry, I have to repeat.
The big obstacle, the major obstacle.
No, because like a manager or full player?
Like a manager.
A manager. I don't know. Of course, you remember your defeats, the big defeats. You know, you play semi-final at home by Munich, you lose 0-4. Wow. It's not easy, but it's part of the process. So I think there are a big mistake in football, in sport in general, that they believe the best one is always the winner. And it's unfair. I won leagues for example, 99 points, and the second one made 96, and said, do you think the second one fell? It was a failure? It's no way. So it's a big, so I think the defeat is part of the process. So it's part of the competition, don't be success. Of course, we are here to win. I want to win, and if not, there's no sense. Because I said many times, you are a little boy with 6, 7 years old. You go to the street here to play a football game. You know, organize in the square a football game. Nobody speak about winning or losing. And you are there, you want to win. You want to do it well. So it's part of our human beings. When you do something, you want to win. And so people say, no, he's a winner and he's a loser. What's the matter with you? Because he won the last game and he lost the last game. It's not about that. So I think the competition is nice because you can win, lose, or draw. And when you lose, okay, shake hands, accept the defeat. When I said before, learn of that, and next time come again. I'm going to beat you. So it's what it is.
This next question actually follows on from this one really well. James Rowan, in there. James asks, is there anything as a manager that you haven't yet achieved and that you aspire to? For example, international management?
Yeah, I would like to be international management, yeah, in the national team. I would like, yeah. Sooner or later it's going to happen because every 3 days I would like to be involved, but a little bit more calm, play more goals. Now I don't have time to play. So yeah, sooner or later it's going to happen. If I have chance, some international team must to talk. So we'll see.
They know what to do now.
No.
We've got a question from Filippo. The question is both in English and both in Catalan as well. So I'm going to read it in the two languages, if you don't mind. I'm going to read the first part in Catalan and then I'm going to translate. Vostè té alguns consells per a un estudiant internacional a qui li agradaria continuar estudiant català també després de tornar al seu país? Música, pel·lícules, sèries de televisió en català, etc. I'm going to translate it now. Do you have any tips or recommendation for an international student who wants to keep on learning Catalan after getting back to his home country? Music, movies, TV series in Catalan, etc.
Yeah. Something to related to the art. So always something. For example, movies. Every time is a new movie, a new, a new writers. Something like that. Something related to the art, for the culture, for be creative. Go there. Go. That you have to do. It's better than every day going the same thing every day. So even I think the students every year must be something different. Okay, they have to teach something, but if they can create something for the students new, comparing for the last season. I'm not training, believe me, the same way than the last season. It's new exercises and new things, and you cannot imagine 10 years ago when I started like a manager. It's completely different. If no, it will be boring. But believe me, I want to do my job, I want to have fun. So the people say, no, the players have fun. Yeah, and myself what? So I deserve to be happy, not just my players. Also I deserve to be happy. And when I do, when I want to see my team, I want to see my team play like I want. Not because nobody can assure me playing that way and that way I'm going to win. Nobody knows. So when I do, it's because I like. I am a spectator. Like a manager in there, sometimes I move too much, but I am there, I am a spectator, and I want to watch my team having fun. It make me happy. And when I make exercises and training, I want to see something when I like to watch. Everything, the principle is to do something you like. If don't, okay, sometimes you have to do it, so that is a paradise, I know that. Sometimes you have to do it because you don't have another option, okay. But if you can do it and you are young, and you are all your power in front of you, you have the future in front of you, don't look for something, or don't search something just to, I will be comfortable, I will, more money, I'll pay off for something else. That is, I think, a big a mistake. So for the old people like myself, 40, 50 years old, so maybe it's too late. But for you, you'll be your fault, not the teachers.
Okay. A question from Patrick Harrington. Patrick? Oh, there he is. Through your experiences in Catalunya, Germany, and England, how have you been able to consistently deliver your message and playing ethos to so many people from so many diverse backgrounds?
Yeah, that was the challenge. When I was in Barcelona and everybody grew up from there, we played 2 finals of the Champions League with 7, 8 players from the academy. It means 10, 11 years, grow, first team and played final of the Champions League. When I arrived there, I said, oh, make that movement. They knew it because in 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years, they did that. But the challenge, go to Germany, and especially in Germany, after I took over the team after the triple, and handle that was not easy. And communicating with Dutch in Germany was not easy, but that was the challenge. And believe me, if you are able to do that, you can do that. So no, believe me. So I started Germany with 43, 44 years old, so it was too old. And I was in New York in sabbatical year, and it was, after signing the contract, 3 hours, 4 hours a day, dodge, accusative, dative, and blah, 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 blah. And it's really tough, but it was, I will do it. I go to the press conference, I want to communicate with my players in Germany, but I have to respect, they contact with me to be in their country. I have to learn Germany, because I am there, and my kids have to learn Germany. They give the opportunity to live there and give the opportunity to learn Germany in there. I have to be grateful, and you have to be effort. You know that? And when you go in Catalunya, that is the big problem when the people say, in Catalunya the people don't speak Spanish. That is not true. The people speak Spanish and Catalan fully, and the Spanish people there, I will encourage them to try to learn Catalan. They will be good for them, for the kids, and maybe their kids will be in love for the Catalan woman or Catalan man, and they will speak Catalan better. And it's like this.
Thank you. Do we have time for one last question?
You've got 2 more questions?
Yeah?
Yeah, let's do those 2
Okay,
questions.
we've got a question from Andy Lees. Okay. How does British media compare to Spanish media?
Nicer, much nicer. They are fantastic. I love them. No, but believe me, it's much better. There, especially in Barcelona, it was the media every day there. But here in these centrums, it's closed. You see them before the game, after the game, and that's all. But in everywhere, it happened the same. When you win, you're a genius. When you lose, you are a disaster. So in everywhere. So that's why you have to be calm with that. But I think, so the way they sell the product, the way they sell the football in the media, in the TV, in the radios a little bit less, because in Spain there are more. I think it's quite similar like Germany. In Spain, especially Madrid, Barcelona, wow, there are much journalism, much programs that start at 12 by night, start to talk in 1 hour from radio, talk about football, that guy, go here, go there, and at 7 programs, 1 hour radio and TV, football, football, and football, and football. In Germany, the people like football, but go to the theater, go to the cinemas, the people in the street. It's quite similar here, you know? There is just football, and sometimes it's too much, too much.
Okay, so this will be the final question.
Okay, so the final question is from Agrim. It's impact on performance level of a player if he does not speak the local language, such as German as in the Bundesliga. So I assume, is there any impact on the performance of the player if they don't speak the local language? Or for you as a manager, if you don't speak the local language?
Yeah, it would be better. So, but before, I think 20 years ago, now today the technology helps us a lot like managers. So now today the cameras record everything and we know the spaces, and sometimes the image help to understand the ideas. Ideas can be understood for the words, for the hands, for your body language, and sometimes for the ideas. And today all the managers work a lot of that. But it's not just to understand the ideas, communicate with the mates. Today, in the locker rooms, they are multi-language, multicultural, multilingual. It's incredible. And they have to challenge the big challenge to understand and to learn for the other ones. And it's a big opportunity. And sometimes I tell them, so don't miss this chance. So you have, and today the clubs, they have teachers, for the Brazilian guys who come, or Argentinians, or Spanish guys that don't speak English. They are there to take lessons, and sometimes it's compulsory. And I said, you have to go half an hour, and they can talk. And for example, I have one regret. I was 2 years in Qatar and living there, and I was not conscious like right now I am how important it is to speak as much language as possible. And I was there and I had time to learn some basics. It's impossible to learn. I think it's so difficult to learn Arabic, but because there are more than 1,000 different languages in Arabic. But I waste my time there. I waste. Because I had time to play football, to play golf in a beautiful golf course, to meet people, but I had time to have an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour, start studying. And after I had 80% of the players of my mates were Arabic people, and I didn't do that. And I have maybe the huge regret I have is don't use that time to learn basics, because it's impossible in 2 years to learn that difficult and beautiful language, but it's what it is. So that's why I learned of that.
Thank you very much.
It's lovely actually to finish the conversation, since we are a Department of Modern Languages, with this and the importance of languages. So thank you so much, Pep. It's been wonderful to have you here, to listen to you. You have no doubt inspired loads of our students. So thank you.
Thank you so much to be here. Thank you.